Welcome to Access Work Service. Ready, willing, able. Learning with Tess. Test your knowledge on disability and barriers quiz. With the right supports, employees with disabilities or barriers are equally as productive as their counterparts without disabilities or barriers. What do you think? True or false? This statement is true. Research consistently demonstrates that with the right supports, employees with disabilities or barriers can be equally as productive as employees without disabilities or barriers. Studies have reported that supervisors rated the job performance of their employees with disabilities and barriers as extremely positive and described their employees as methodical, conscientious, and performing high-quality work. The turnover rate for employees with a disability or barrier is higher than the turnover rate for employees without. What do you think? True or false? This statement is false. Inclusive hiring means having a stronger, more stable workforce. The turnover rate for employees with a disability or barrier is much lower than the turnover rate for employees without. We know that turnover is costly, impacting a business's bottom line, productivity, and even workplace morale. Companies that have an effective retention strategy are able to maintain skilled labor and reap the benefits of knowledge continuity in the workplace, ultimately resulting in significant cost savings. Workplace accommodations for employees with disabilities or barriers are costly and complex. True or false? This statement is false. The perception that all workplace accommodations for employees with a disability or barrier are costly and complex is indeed a myth. While the costs of workplace accommodations have been identified as a perceived barrier to inclusive hiring, the research continues to demonstrate that in reality, these costs are very little. Companies that hire inclusively experience an enhanced workplace culture. What do you think? True or false? This statement is true. Companies that hire inclusively experience an enhanced workplace culture. Employer partners have shared that having a diverse and inclusive workforce has boosted morale and enhanced connectedness in the workplace. Research also suggests that an inclusive workplace fosters leadership and management skills among senior level staff. The general public has a more favorable view of companies who hire people with a disability or barrier. What do you think? True or false? This statement is true. Successful businesses recognize the value of developing long-lasting relationships with their customers. In today's hyper-competitive market, consumer loyalty can be the key to a business's long-term success. Employees with a disability or barrier pose a higher safety risk on the job than their co-workers without a disability or barrier? What do you think? True or false? This statement is false. Research with inclusive employers has consistently found that employees with a disability do not pose a higher safety risk on the job than their co-workers without a disability and typically rate average or above average on safety. Disability is an individual difference or impairment in a person's body. What do you think? True or false? This statement is false. Disability is a complex phenomenon. It reflects not only on a biological or physiological difference in a person's body structure or function, but also how that impairment or difference interacts with their environment and impacts how a person carries out activities and tasks and participates in their community. Using this definition, someone who has a biological difference or impairment that does not interfere with their ability to carry out day-to-day activities or participate meaningfully in their community may not consider themselves to have a disability. A disability is rare. What do you think? True or false? This statement is false. Disability is actually a universal phenomenon. We are all likely to experience a decline in our health at some point in our lives that will impact our ability to carry out certain tasks and participate in our community. Companies that hire inclusively experience an innovation advantage. The innovation advantage is the cumulative competitive advantage that a company derives from its ability to continuously create, demonstrate, and deliver more strategically innovative value to more customers more often than its competition. This statement is true. Many companies that hire inclusively experience an innovation advantage. Creativity comes from diversity. People with disabilities or barriers bring different perspectives, experiences, and mindsets that approach their work in different ways and can foster innovative practices. Furthermore, the creativity and flexibility used in order to meet the needs of a diverse and inclusive workforce translates to an ability to innovate and adapt to changing markets. In fact, research has found that companies that leverage diversity in their workforce are better able to adapt, innovate, and outperform non-adaptive workplaces across a number of factors. From Access Work Service, Ready, Willing, Able, Learning with Tess. Thank you for taking our quiz. Remember, language matters. Labels don't and can't tell us everything about a person or an employee. People with disabilities or barriers are as diverse as people without disabilities, with unique skills and strengths. In fact, different people may identify with different labels or may identify with only some characteristics associated with a particular label. Recognize the limits of a label and get to know the person.